Today's video was going to be something of a rarity because I was going to be having a rant about British politics, a subject I usually steer clear of. And the reason for this is, well, firstly, I'm a floating voter, I'm not affiliated with any party. And also, I think in general, people vote for the party that they think will best suit the needs of themselves and their nearest and dearest. And if you're watching this from outside the UK, you may not be aware of this absolute shitstorm of a story, because it transpires back in May 2020, when the pandemic was out of control, when NHS workers were going home with bruised faces from wearing their N95 masks, and when people like me were furloughed, only allowed to leave our homes for 1 hour a day, and we could only meet one other person outside. It turns out 10 Downing Street was throwing fucking garden parties. Less than an hour from when the harshest restrictions ever imposed on the British public were announced, an email was sent to 100 MPs and general staff inviting them to a bring your own booze party at number 10. Like I say, I don't normally touch on politics, but in a recent survey, 2/3 of British people, myself included, say that the fucking Prime Minister should resign. Don't get me wrong, I don't envy any world leaders, and nor will I criticise any measures that were brought in, because no one knew how to deal with COVID. But at a time when hundreds were dying every day and millions of the British public were trapped at home terrified, getting your parliamentary chums round for a good old knees up is taking the piss. Boris, pack your bags, you womanising, bumbling mophead pillock. So that was going to be the video. But as I started to make notes, something more amusing popped up in my newsfeed. A story concerning the stupidest bastards on earth, our good friends the anti-vaxxers. Yes, that very select group of mentally subnormal people who've rejected modern medicine and science, preferring instead to die like medieval peasants, have come up with a couple of their own ways to protect themselves from the Rona. I mean, obviously they don't work, but that's beside the point. Of course, the simplest way to drastically reduce the chance of you dying should you catch the virus is to get fucking vaccinated. But for the people who claim to do their own research, which is remarkable given that most of them are illiterate, they say they found a better, already existing drug. Viagra. From a social distancing perspective, that makes sense. Because if I were in the supermarket and a man walked towards me with a prominent erection, I'd give him some fucking space. So on the plus side, you've always got that 2 metre distance. But on the downside, there's a chance you could end up on the sex offenders register. Also, I have no idea what effect Viagra has on women. Maybe they can get ready on time and park the car. But the thing I find most baffling about anti-vaxxers taking that brand of hard-on pills is that Viagra is made by Pfizer, which people of a tinfoil persuasion refer to as part of Big Pharma. So if they're trusting Viagra to ward off COVID, if they trust Pfizer with that, then why not take the first approved fucking vaccine, which was made by Pfizer? But that's not the worst of the imaginary cures that have been dreamt up by the science deniers. A group of anti-vaxxers in the US are making the false claim that you can protect yourself from C-19 by drinking your own urine. And unless you spend your evenings watching very niche German pornographic videos, I'm guessing the only thing worse than drinking your own piss would be drinking someone else's. Now, urine does have its uses. For centuries it was used for tanning leather and dyeing fabric. But it doesn't strike me as a healthy or refreshing beverage. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I'm aware that we ingest food and drink, the body takes what it needs and gets rid of what it doesn't. Urine is a waste product. But to anyone who thinks that it gives them health benefits or even fights off any type of virus, they may as well go along with, I'm feeling peckish, I'll crap between 2 slices of bread for a delicious and nutritious turd sandwich. Every time I record a video about anti-vaxxers, I think that's it. This will be the last one. They can't be any more fucking stupid, and every time they prove me wrong. But whilst I'm on about bodily functions, if we take the average anti-vaxxer, do you think his arsehole gets jealous of all the shit that comes out of his mouth? As ever, thanks for watching.